What is going on, guys? It is the first official NM podcast, Team NM podcast. Let's go. All right. I am joined with my good friend and team member. It's Punch. Boys,
Yeah.
what's going on?
What is going on? And what do we have on the table today, G1?
Well, for the first part of the podcast, we're going to be talking about skill-based matchmaking and how it is affecting video games.
That is a very good one. So let's talk about that.
All right. What do you think of the mindset of a casual player?
I mean, first off, I just want to start by saying, where I'm at with skill-based matchmaking. Personally, I'm against it.
Yeah.
In public matches anyway. Like, clearly ranked mode's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's not an issue. Having a ranked mode and then a skill-based matchmaking in pubs is bad. That's where I'm at on the...
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, on the argument. With the mindset of a casual thing, I feel like the mindset of a casual nowadays, because of the battle royale genre, it's kind of turned into a I just want to win and I don't care how I win kind of mindset.
Yeah.
So, talking about that, just kind of like, I feel like part of this generation, I don't mean to, I'm 21. I'm not like, I can't say back in my day, but like,
Hey,
I
we
feel
all
like,
know how old you are, buddy.
yeah, like part of this generation that we grow up in is like this instant glorification that we all want. So like, we want to be good at something right away. We don't want to have to fail. But that's just not how gaming should work, right?
Yeah.
We all grew up with games back in the day, like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
You played for, a long time just so you could pub stomp. I had a .6 KD for like 3 Call of Duties before I was good, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like casuals, I get it, like, you don't care about the game and you just want to have fun and you don't want to always get rolled. But, like, just go play ranked and play in bronze. I don't know. What is your thoughts on casuals nowadays? Like,
I just think that if you want to play the game casually, you should be allowed to go into public matches, pubs, and you should not have to worry about dealing with a lot of just fucking insane players.
well, that would be, that's a pro for skill-based matchmaking, though, like what you're saying there.
I know, but if skill-based matchmaking should only be in ranked.
Right, but
it should just be at random in pubs.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if it's random in pubs, if you're shit at the game, like, you're gonna run into people that are just better than you, right?
Yeah, but it just feels like there's no difference between ranked and pubs nowadays.
Right, and that's what I'm okay. Like, if they want to implement a skill-based matchmaking in the pubs, like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But it should be much broader than what it is. Like, it should be like...
Yeah.
It should be, there should be, like, a skill level for, like, brand new players, like, brand new accounts. Like, if we're just talking about Fortnite, like, a brand new account, like, maybe 1 or 2 wins, a couple kills, like, haven't played much. And then there should be, like, dog shit players, like, literally dog shit players, like, under, like, a .5 KD, but have played a ton and just aren't good at the game. Right? And then there should be everybody else. Like, you can protect, like, that first 2, like, levels of players where it's brand new and completely dog shit. But from that point on, throw them to the wolves. Like, they're not going to get any better playing against, other shitters. Like, they're just not going to get any better.
Yeah. But if you are looking to get better at the game, then you should only be playing ranked.
Right.
But if you don't care about the game, then it shouldn't be like if you want to just
play
pubs and have a good time.
Yeah.
But it's just like, that's what it feels like. It just feels like you're playing ranked.
Going off of that, too, if you don't care about the game, like you're casual and you just play it casually and you don't care about the game, why should the people who do care about the game, like, why should they get punished in pubs where they can't have fun in pubs? Why should they get punished because somebody who doesn't care about the game wants skill-based matchmaking so they don't have to, like, so they just play against other shitters all day long? Like,
Well, that's the thing. It shouldn't matter. Because if you just want to not get put up against shitters all day, then just go play ranked.
right.
And if you just don't, if you are getting sick and tired of it, what players will do nowadays is just start a new account.
Yeah, which is not okay.
It isn't okay, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's something for them to do.
Right, that's what I mean. So like,
And it just takes up their time and it
I
makes
mean
them just
that ruins, like, if you're gonna have a skill based matchmaking, that kind of ruins it for people. Where it's like,
yeah.
I'm just gonna make a brand new account and then I'll just go shit on kids in pubs for the day, and then tomorrow I'll make another brand new account. I'll just keep doing that every day, and that'll be my form of fun. Like, and then you got these skilled players that are abusing a skill based matchmaking system where they're literally getting put up against like the worst players in the world, only because their account's new. Like, and it's just bad. Like, it should just be random players. Like,
yeah.
I don't think
That's what I feel like too. Like,
and I get the tactic with like skill based matchmaking. I get it. Like, you want your new players to play long. Like, you don't want them to get shit on and just drop the game instantly. Like, I get it. I get, like, that's the point of it. But, and I've said this, plenty of times, I don't think these gaming companies understand how important it is for their game to thrive on streaming platforms and on like YouTube and Twitch and Mixer. Yeah. If your game's not popping on those, your game is never ever going to be successful. Like, if all these pros continue to quit these games with skill-based matchmaking, or quit, making content for it anyway, like, maybe they'll still play pro. But if all the content creators are not playing pubs, not producing content, then, like, if they leave the game, the viewership leaves, like, the game is going to die. Like, those people that you wanted to protect they're just going to watch, their favorite content creators, and when they move on to another game, they're like, oh, I'm just going to go play that. Like, yeah. So, like, right now with Fortnite's in a really bad state. Not only is it in a bad state, just because of the mechanics of the game, yeah, it's the skill-based matchmaking. A lot of content creators have stopped playing the game because of skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah.
And they're all going to Warzone, right? Yeah. So, with Warzone, like, the player count on Warzone right now is insane. Like,
yeah, because so many people can play it.
Oh, and it's taking over, and it's because all these content creators are switching to it, and without content being produced for Fortnite, the viewership's down, the game is like dying slowly right now, and you can tell when a company knows their game's dying because they start listening, right? And it's been like a month or two. I would say it's been about a month or two. Fortnite's been like listening really hard to like its pros and things like that. Like, they're trying to nerf aim assist, I believe. They've tried removing skill based. We did have some complaints about it. The way they remove skill based as well. This brings me to another point. With Fortnite, when they removed skill based, I think it was 2 weeks ago, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
They had it
out for like a week.
They added AIs though, and at first, and I will say this, I will take that. I'll take 20 real players and 80 AIs over what we have right now.
Yeah.
Like, because I just don't enjoy sweating. But
yeah, because I will too.
But it did get old pretty fast shooting CPUs. Like,
yeah, a little bit.
It got pretty old pretty fast shooting CPUs.
Yeah, but at the same time, for me, someone who doesn't take Fortnite serious and just wants to have fun, I didn't mind. Like, right. I didn't mind. I was having fun.
Also, with that,
I wasn't getting shit on. I was happy.
Right. Another good point is you're not good at Fortnite, right?
Yeah,
like, you're really bad at Fortnite.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm good at Fortnite.
No. That's not what I'm saying. You're not good at Fortnite. Yeah. And when you play with me, who I'm pretty good at Fortnite. Like,
yeah.
I do decent in cash cups. Like, I play the game. Yeah. Our lobbies are extremely sweaty together, so I can't play with my friend that is a casual.
Yeah.
Because of skill-based matchmaking, it's just not. It's just not fun to play with each other. Like, it's legitimately just not fun. Like,
yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
It's just not fun, and I don't want to have to sit here and have to suffer through sweating when I don't want to sweat at the game,
And
but
when
it's
and
the
when
only way for me to have fun with my friends,
right, and when skill based
and
wasn't
it's
in the
terrible.
game, it was a perfect mix. Like me and him had a
Yeah.
ton of fun when skill based wasn't in the game, and he's not. He's a casual. He's not good. I was good, and we had a ton of fun because our
Yeah.
lobbies weren't just completely sweaty, and we could play with each other, and it was a ton of fun. Now we've like basically quit playing Fortnite altogether because we can't play with each other.
Yeah, it's practically unbearable for me because I have to sweat so hard just to get anywhere late game. Really.
Yeah.
It's
So
just terrible.
like that being said, another issue with skill based is just it keeps people from playing with each other. Like a popular example is like Ninja, Courage, and like that whole group of friends, like Tim and them,
Yeah.
cannot play squads together anymore because it's just too sweaty for them as a group. Like they can't. They're content creators. They just can't do it anymore, and they can't play with each other because of skill based matchmaking. Like Ninja will go play solos. Some people will go play solos on Fortnite, but they can't play with each other. That's the main point. So it's keeping like friends from playing with each other. It's keeping like it's just I don't know. Like it's keeping the fun out of the game. It's really bad.
It's just it's not fun anymore to play games casually.
Right.
To have fun in any BR or competitive game like Call of Duty, you have to sweat almost like as hard as you can
Yeah. And
to
then
have fun, and that's the worst thing
on top of
about
that,
it.
even when you get good, if you are pro skill based, even when you get good, there's no reward for being good. Like
Yeah,
you just still
none.
play in lobbies that you struggle to win or you struggle to do good in because everybody is good in those lobbies. Like
Yeah,
I said it earlier. Back when I was like new to gaming, like in COD, the reward was being able to shit on the new players. Like that was the reward
yeah.
for getting good. Like I could pub stomp. I could
Same
do
way
what
for Siege, brother.
right. Like it's like that was the reward. And now I'm good, and what do I get? I get to go, like I get to get shit on by somebody who's 10 times better than me because I'm in a skill based matchmaking lobby. Like,
Mhm.
and there's like 20 of those people in the lobby. Like, there's like where I'm at in skill base is it's like there's like 10 people in my lobbies that are just like 10 times better than me. I can't even compete. Then there's like 50 of me, and then there's like 30 shitters,
Yeah,
and the lobbies are just consistently like that. It's so hard to win because of the way the lobbies are set up. Like it's just
yeah. It's terrible.
yeah, skill based is like really really bad. And like I'm saying, like with Fortnite, like I remember back when I was watching even any game, like any game with skill based. Back when I used to watch, Fortnite, I'll use it as an example again. Back when I used to watch Fortnite, uh like people would jump into squads in the morning and they'd fuck around. They'd be like, "Oh, let's see if we can land all four corners and meet up at end game and win the game." Or, "Hey, a new gun came out. Let's see if we can't get a win just using the new gun." And now that's just not possible. You can't make any like silly content or the
Yeah,
goofy
it's
content
terrible.
like that. It's just hey, let's see if we can win. Like that's where
Like yeah, like
like that's
and
where
and
we're
another
at.
thing like it is just like big content creators like some people may know Fitz. He's very big. He used to do like PUBG funny moments. He used to do
Right.
Fortnite
I
funny
remember
moments,
that. Yeah.
but he stopped doing it because he couldn't.
Yeah,
He
it's
wouldn't even make it past a first fight without having to have someone like his friends try.
yeah. And I remember back when I used to squad fill on like Xbox or
Yeah,
even early PC, like it was fun. Like we squad filled and we would talk to each other and we would just have a good time. And now it's like whenever I squad fill, it's like people are just like calling out, "Yo, I crack shield, we gotta rotate, we got." It's so serious, like
yeah,
24/7. Like even when you're squad filling, like it's just so serious.
yeah. Just doesn't leave room to have fun in the game. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
it's
It's just it also takes away from most content creators because most content creators now, like I know, like even Pavlov VR, that game is competitive and sweaty as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's terrible because that game should just be, oh, I can go in, I can play VR, and I can just shoot people who are also in VR and make some friends. That's what it should be.
Right. And I think that's
VR
what
games should not be played competitive like
even
that.
yeah, even VR, non-VR, like whatever you want to say,
Yeah.
gaming in general should just be like you're gaming to like escape from stress in the real world most of the time, or you're just trying to like squat up with your buddies and have some fun, and you just can't. You can't fuck around or like goof around at all anymore. Like it's so I don't know. It's just not like it's not what it used to be. Like I used to get on the game excited, ready to play, ready to joke around, have a good
Yeah.
time, and now it's just like if you're not, like I don't know, the way lobbies are set up, it's just set up the where it's like if you're not winning, you're not having fun. Like
Yeah, it's terrible.
yeah, yeah, it's
It's
just
just it's the same thing with like,
and it's because you
because I know Siege is just completely oblivious to the casual player base. They do not care.
yeah.
They have said so many times that they do not care about casual players. They have even told in an interview, the game devs have said that it, like the interviewer asked, "What do you think or what do you think about casual players complaining that it's just too competitive and
Well,
like things
here's
like that?" And they just straight up said, "Get good."
yeah, and I
Because they
mean,
just don't care. They don't care.
but that's to me. I feel like they can say that, but I feel like if you have skill based in your game, like Siege does and unranked, I know they don't in casual, which is good. But
No, they do.
oh, they haven't in casual now.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's
it's always been in
so.
casual.
Yeah, here's my thing about that then,
It's just
right?
more broad, like in Fortnite.
Yeah, if it's skill, like if you have skill based matchmaking, I feel like you're not punishing the casuals at that point. I feel like you're punishing the good players. Like
Yeah,
I know they're saying
it's
get
terrible.
good, but like I feel like skill based is like if you really didn't care about casual gameplay, you honestly wouldn't have like you just wouldn't have you wouldn't
It's
have
yeah,
like skill based wouldn't be a thing. Like if you didn't care about casuals, then skill based wouldn't be in the game. I think
yeah.
it's that clear. Like, and I get it. Like most of the time, like I get it. Like people will say like, oh, it's just the top 1% complaining. Like because
When it's not.
they just want to shit on like they just want to shit on people that are worse than them. And honestly, my honest to God opinion, yes. Like I just want to shit on people that are worse than me. I want to feel like, people are worse than me. If
Yeah,
I've put hours into the game, like hours, I don't even want to know how many hours I put into Fortnite, right?
yeah.
And
I don't know. I don't want to know.
I still feel like I'm ass because
Yeah,
because of the lobbies I get put into. Like
yeah.
that's
The
just
same way I
not
feel
good.
about Siege, bro.
Like
Same way.
every time I get off Fortnite, I'm frustrated. I'd never get off Fortnite happy anymore. It's always and I don't see many people like get off of a Fortnite like a day of
I don't
Fortnite
see
happy.
anybody get off of a game, period, happy
Yeah.
anymore.
Like
I've only seen, honest to God, the only person I've seen get off of game with a full smile on his face is Summit 1G after he's done playing Sea of Thieves.
yeah,
The only time I'll ever see somebody actually happy
and with
playing
that
and enjoying a game in PvP.
and that's the thing. That game's PvE. Like it's partly
Oh no,
PvP.
it's PvP
Like there's a
too.
little bit. Like there's a little bit, but the main focus of that game is PvE, right? I
Yeah,
think. I know they just added an arena mode or whatever that is.
I
But
don't even know.
but
I don't pay
originally
attention to
Sea
it.
of Thieves is PvE and my just biggest thing I just don't understand the thought process cuz like the only time I see people get off games happy anymore is like if they just won a tournament or something. Like
Yeah,
I don't see
and
I just don't see people getting off of a casual day of like Fortnite or something happy.
yeah.
Like I just don't see it.
It's also another thing with like pros now who are leaving. Like I know I don't pay attention to like Night and Apex and all that,
Hmm.
but I do pay attention to Siege. I pay attention so much to Siege
Oh,
that it's just ridiculous.
there's pros
There is
upon.
so many pros leaving the scene in Siege, and it's not just Pro League. It's Challenger League too. For people who have actual mechanical potential in video games who have not even hit their peak yet, who are leaving because of the amount of issues in the game and the amount of just how unhappy it brings them.
Uh, with I mean, there's not a lot of pros quitting because of skill based. Like now, there are pros that just don't play pubs anymore, and they just either they're spending their day playing a cash cup or scrimming or in creative. Like most of the pros don't play pubs anymore. Like I don't see or they'll play
Yeah.
arena. Like most of the pros don't play pubs. And I see like a lot of the content creators are ditching games that have skill based matchmaking. Like they're gone. Like I know,
Well, yeah, because they
um,
can't make good content anymore.
yeah, like Myth left Fortnite.
Yeah.
Um, Courage hasn't played Fortnite. Tifu's been playing Warzone for like a week now. Ninja plays Warzone for every now and again. Hops on Fortnite. Tim the Tatman plays different games like Warzone normally. Everybody's going to Warzone right now, I think, and it's because their skill based matchmaking. Like they have skill based matchmaking. It's still a little sweaty, but it's definitely broader than what Fortnite's skill based matchmaking is. And
Yeah.
and Fortnite being a cartoon game, right? Like the point of the game is to have fun. I would think. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I
I just
remember.
think I just think it should be separated. You should be allowed and you should be able to have as much fun as you want in pubs.
Or just make a new mode, like a newbie mode. Like you know how uh we have quick play, unranked and ranked and siege, and then they have like that.
There's newcomer, but
There's
that's just full of
newcomer.
Smurfs. It doesn't matter.
I know, but like just
And no,
make
it
that
shouldn't.
mode.
No, I'm not saying that it should just be at random in public matches. Like if I want to like in arena in Fortnite, that is the ranked. A
Right.
cash cup, that is the ranked. But it should work like how it used to work in Siege, where there's no skill based in casual, but it's skill based in ranked.
Well, of course it's skill based and ranked. There
Well,
just
yeah,
should
but
there should
that should be the same way for arena and pubs and cash cups in Fortnite. If I want to play pubs with my friend, I should not have to feel like I'm playing ranked
right.
in the lobby. But that's just what I feel like. I even feel like that in fucking Siege casual because
Yeah.
people just try so hard and they think that oh my god, I'm gonna be the best if I just try my ass
Well,
off
I just don't.
in the most
It
casual
doesn't.
like
To me, it doesn't.
way.
I feel like it's the environment that they provide though, with adding skill based matchmaking into it. Like I feel like if skill based matchmaking wasn't in cash, or it wasn't in unranked, or it wasn't in just Fortnite in general, like then the I like the mindset of the player wouldn't be, oh, let's try my ass off because like it's just the environment I'm put in, right?
Yeah.
Uh, cause like if skill based matchmaking wasn't in Fortnite, like when I play with in your lobbies, like or when we get like a non sweaty lobby, like I fuck around. Like I go for no scopes,
Yeah,
I fuck
it's fun.
around. Yeah. Like
But
but when
you
I'm
can
in
tell when it's a sweaty
when
lobby
I'm
when we literally can't make it past where we fucking drop.
when I'm squad
It's
filling,
terrible.
the thing is when I'm squad filling with like with just random people, like I sweat my ass off cuz like I just have to. Like I sweat my ass off because I don't know, it's just you just have to. Like
Yeah, you just have
it's just the
to
environment I'm put into.
have any fun and
Yeah.
win because nowadays fucking around isn't fun anymore.
Yeah, like I used
Nowadays
well, it's
fucking
not
around is just looked at like
it's
you're
not
bad at the game.
yeah,
That's what it's looked at. Like
it's not that
but
it's
but to have fun now and to not be called shit for fucking around, you have to try your ass off and get good at the game to have fun.
yeah, it's not even that it's just not fun. Like back in the day, I used to be able to I used to be able to fuck around and be successful,
Yeah, you
right?
used to be able to fuck around and actually win.
Yeah, and still do good. Like, and now if
Yeah,
you
and then
fuck
it
around,
would be fun because you're still fucking
yeah,
around.
but now if you're not playing the meta, like, you're just not gonna
Yeah,
be
if you're
successful, and
not
it's not
like
fun.
it's
Like,
the same thing with like how people were saying
clearly,
in Call of Duty.
yeah,
If you're not
clearly,
running the best gun in the game, then what's the point of running the gun?
yeah,
Because
and
you're just gonna
clearly,
lose.
nobody
You are just
likes
going to lose.
nobody likes to just die and die and die and die like over and over.
Yeah,
Like,
no, people will get frustrated if they're not gaining some ground.
right.
It's the same thing with Siege because Siege has the like in my opinion, it has a bigger learning curve than Fortnite. That's only because Siege is very complex and the amount of
I
places
wouldn't.
people can be,
I wouldn't say
places where they can peek.
mechanically. I think Fortnite's 10 times harder than
Yeah,
Siege.
mechanically definitely, but Siege is on kind of a different ball game because of how many aspects of where like people can be, where people can
I don't
peek you
know.
from, where how like who's playing what
And
operators,
pro,
information.
the
It's
thing
just
is,
different.
yeah, but you've never played on a high level of Fortnite. Like, when you get to the high level of Fortnite, it's you need to know how to rotate, where to rotate, how to get storm tags, how to micromanage like rotating the storm while trying to get tags while fighting. Like, and
Yeah,
there's just so much. And then there's 80 plus people in a circle the size of a penny. Like,
I know, but
at the
that's
highest
still
level of
easier to
Fortnite,
figure
it's
out
not.
than if I am
It
a
really isn't.
brand new player to
It
Siege.
really isn't, because teams are consistent in Siege, right?
Yeah,
There's
or
not.
not really.
There's no like consistent team or like player in Fortnite. Like, every
Well, yeah,
tournament is
because
different
there's that.
normally.
There's the what is it? The
RNG.
yeah, the RNG aspect in that game of the storm.
I mean, you can
The
say
storm is what makes it
that, but
just
at the point
not consistent.
to where Fortnite's at
And
though.
the loot.
Yeah, but at the point to where Fortnite's at, it it's I mean, like, back a long time ago, it used to be consistent. Like, Tifu and Cloakzy would win
I know.
everything.
I played when it first came
Yeah,
out.
like Tifu and Cloakzy would
I
win
know.
everything, right?
Yeah,
So
because
like,
it wasn't that bad.
yeah, so like now it's like like one tournament some kid will win, like this tournament, like some kid, whoever won East, I didn't even know who the fuck it was. Like, I was like, who is this? Like, with the FNCS solos, I was like, who is this kid? I don't know who. I think his name was like Furious. I don't know who
Yeah,
I've
I
never
don't
seen that
fucking
player
know.
in my life. Like, he came out of fucking nowhere,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
And I feel like that's why Fort's a little different. Like, it's, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot harder to be good at Fortnite. Like, a lot harder. Like,
Yeah.
you can study Siege. Like, Siege is like a book almost a lot of the times. Like, you can study Siege and know, what you're doing. Like, if you watch Pro League, like, you might have shitty aim, but if you watch Pro League, like, you'll know spots. It's like S&D and COD. Like, if you watch COD Pro League, you know what you're doing. Like, you
Yeah,
at least,
but
you should know how to rotate. You should know how
it's
to.
different than COD because in Siege, no gun is the meta. No
Right,
gun
right, and that comes
is
down to
better
aim
than
though.
any
That
other
just
gun
comes down to
because
aim though.
every gun
That
can
doesn't.
one shot you.
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with Siege. That just comes down to aim.
I know.
Like, that has nothing to do with Siege as a game. Like, there's plenty of games with that same mechanic. It just comes down to aim. Like, in Fortnite, if you don't have good aim, you're gonna suck. Like, you could edit and build as fast as you want, but if you can't kill somebody because you can't hit them, you're still gonna suck at the game.
Yeah.
But bringing a topic off of aim, we can talk about a pretty big, hot topic issue in gaming right now, which is controller players and aim assist.
It's just controller player aim assist.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no other aim assist.
So
Like actually.
before I start this
But
conversation,
yeah.
I do want to say, this is mainly strictly towards aim assist on PC. Because,
It's
like,
mainly
I've
towards the game Fortnite.
I've played no,
It's really
it's
no other
bad.
game
It's
besides COD and
yeah, it's
like
bad in
Destiny
COD.
2 and
It's
that was
bad
it.
in no. It's I mean, in Destiny it's only sniping. Apex it's an issue. Uh,
Apex is not an issue.
yes,
There
it
isn't even.
is. Yes, it
It
is.
is. It is it really?
Yes, it is a major
Not to
issue.
PC players because they don't
No,
get
it
it
is. It is. Oh, no, no, no. Controller players on PC. You can plug in a controller on PC.
and get aim assist.
Yeah.
Oh well, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Then why don't they just be put in with other controller players?
But that's part of. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No, that's fucking stupid.
Okay, so here's let's just break it down. Let's just talk about the strength.
This is why games shouldn't be cross-plat.
Let's just yeah. I mean,
This is why if you buy a console, you should be stuck on a fucking controller. If
That's
you buy
not-
a PC, you should be stuck on a mouse and keyboard.
yeah. I mean
That's how it works.
that
That's
would
how
be
it should work.
that would be ideal, but unfortunately, it's not. So
Made only in games of Call of Duty
it
will
can
I
be
ever.
balanced. It can be
If
balanced.
I ever agree with it, it will only be in Call.
No, it can be.
That is it.
I truly think it can be balanced. However,
But they're not even trying.
the strength of aim assist right now is an issue.
Well, yeah.
And I think it's an issue mainly because of the way controller players have evolved. Like a long time ago, like let me bring you back to like I don't fucking know. Let's bring us back to like the first COD or the first Halo, right? Gaming in general, like the pros, like all that, we sucked. Like gamers sucked. Like we sucked at games, right? We needed
Yeah, because the game was still new.
right. We needed gaming in general was still new. Like people hadn't been gaming on controllers that long. Like people hadn't been playing FPSs. Like we sucked. Like gamers sucked.
Yeah.
But now we're 20 odd some years later, right? And
Around there, yeah.
and people who've been playing on controller have been playing on controller for years. Like years. Like people have been playing on controller for, there's people that have been playing for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
And they're just better. I've seen pros turn off aim assist and still be like really, really good at aiming, right? And when you add this aim assist element that we've had for years onto it, it's just too strong now. Like the way gaming has evolved, the way aiming has evolved, it's just too strong. Like we don't need that much help anymore because we're just better at the game.
Certain people are better at the game, not everybody.
Right. And
like it's different because nowadays you have but no, nowadays you have people who like what fucking one kid who won Fortnite like the big tournament was like what 15?
Oh no,
Like some shit.
There's 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds that win place top
Yeah,
10.
Exactly. And
Cast
they're
of all
not
the
like
time.
20 years into it like most pros are.
Right, but they know like there's better way. Like we know how to like they've been able to watch and they've been able to learn the best ways to aim, and there's just better ways to train your aim nowadays. So yeah, like sure there's 15-year-olds doing it, but I mean,
Yeah, really.
it's just it's so easy to abuse now. Like I don't know. And maybe it's stronger than it used to be. Like it feels stronger than it used to be. I haven't gone back and played an old game in a long time. I don't know how strong it used to be. It doesn't feel that strong on console either. Like controller on PC is new as well. Like it's mainly the controller on PC aspect of it. Like for some reason when you partner extremely high frames with having aim assist, it really, really just like fucks something up. I don't know what it is, but it fucks something up. Like something in that system is wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
It's a problem.
Oh, it's a major problem. So yeah, I mean like recent results like and Fortnite, a good example again, is just the amount of controller players that are starting to like really, really, really just abuse this aim assist mechanic. So like, I know in FNCS, at least on NA East, I think like at a point, I don't think it finished this way, but at a point, the top 10 players on the leaderboard were all controller players, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that, and they're not on the top of the leaderboard because they edit better, they build better. You watch them kill people, and it just looks unfair. Like it looks like aimbot sometimes. Like it legitimately just looks like they can't miss. And no matter what you do, like you could make the perfect edit, you can make the perfect build, you could cone them. They're just gonna spray through and hit every bullet, and you die like instantly.
Yeah.
I know they're trying to address it. There's some controversy, obviously, like this last update. Instead of nerfing it, they added just a buff to it, and we were all under the assumption that they were gonna nerf it as well. But they are like obviously Fortnite's trying to do something about it. It's not as bad as in Warzone. Like Warzone controller is probably the preferred input, but it's not by much. Like some of the best Warzone players in the world are still on PC. And
Well, yeah.
In a game,
just mechanically better.
Right, and in a game where the fight. Yeah, aim is the game. Like, and the TTK is somewhat quick. Like PC can compete, right?
Yeah.
But on Fortnite, it's a matter of how many shots you can sneak in before they build, right, or something like that. So like when you can just spray and rip like 3 headshots before they build, the fight's over.
Yeah.
Like the fight's over. Like Fortnite's a game of trading damage. And when they can do just that much more damage, the fight's over. Like
yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else you can do about it now.
And then there's
controller aim assist is just too powerful.
Right, and then you can talk about possible fixes for it. Number one, being like if we just go into controller versus PC or mouse and keyboard, you could just separate the lobbies, right? You could make separate pro scenes. Separate prize pools, and at this point, I think controller versus mouse and keyboard is more unfair than 60 FPS versus 240 FPS. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'd rather see controller players of all FPSs play against each other, and mouse and keyboard players of all FPS play against each other, and not have to worry about them playing against each other. Because I know, like, games like Fortnite already split prize pools. Like, they split them between. Not only do they split them between like regions, they also split them between console and PC.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it would be better if they did controller versus, mouse and keyboard. Because at that point, then you can't complain. Like, controller players play against controller players, mouse and keyboard. And that, it seemed like it was simpler, too. Back before they did mixed lobbies, like, it was simpler times. Like, this was never an issue, right? Like, sure, like, they had their arguments between each other where it was like, mouse and keyboard players would shit on controller players, but like we didn't know because like we just didn't compete against each other, and it was better that way. Like it was just better that way.
Yeah, and it was just I liked it a lot more.
Yeah, it was way better that way. Like when I died to somebody and I know like that person's also using a controller, like it's a better feeling. Like it's a better feeling. Like when I played on Xbox, shows that
you can get better.
Right. But when I die on mouse and keyboard to somebody who doesn't know how to build and just sprays me down and kills me because he head dinks me 4 times. It's like, not only is it frustrating, it's just like no matter how good I get, that's gonna happen. Like it doesn't matter how good I am, like that's still gonna happen. And I don't know. It's just
and it just feels like it takes away from the reward of being skilled.
Right, and I think there's way to fix it. Like there's ways to fix aim assist. Like good example is like Destiny 2. Destiny 2 gives controller players different recoil patterns on the weapons, like harder recoil patterns. Like their aim assist is really strong. I know sniping is a big issue in the Destiny 2 community right now with controllers, but it's not game breaking like it is in Fortnite. Like controller players don't dominate the scene. Like there's still MNKers that are just way more skilled. Like the sweats, the tournaments are called sweats in Destiny. That the sweats are still dominated by mouse and keyboard players.
Yeah.
Yeah, like aim assist just isn't. It's not that it's not the
strong.
Yeah, it's not that it's not the preferred input. It's just like it's playable. You can play on it, but like it's balanced, and nobody's playing on it because like if it's balanced, why would you want to play on something that you have less keybinds on and things like that?
Well, exactly.
Or Siege. For an example, Siege. Siege doesn't give you aim assist if you're on controller, right?
Yeah.
And
so it just comes down to skill.
Yeah, and
and that's what I like.
There's a couple controller players that are still really good in Siege,
Yeah, but they'll never
but
be on pro
yeah,
level
they'll never be on pro
because
level.
Siege is 10 times more.
And
How
when you
can I say
play,
it? Like more pro on.
yeah, and they don't allow
Just 10 times better.
they allow controller on PC to compete against other with people with mouse and keyboard, but on console they don't allow you to plug in a mouse and keyboard. I don't think they at least they
No,
didn't
they
used
do.
to. They do
You have to
now.
buy. They have to. You have to buy a certain plugin.
No, that's cheating.
I know,
It
but
reads it
you
as a
can still
controller.
do it.
Yeah, that's still cheating though. Like they don't there's not they don't do it on their own though. Like they, what I'm saying, it's not actually a part of the game. Um,
Well, I mean, it is. They're
no,
gonna take out the inputs altogether.
it's cheating.
I
If you
know, but
buy,
they can still get rid of it. They're
no,
just
they
choosing
can't.
not to.
They
Yeah,
can't.
they can.
No, it reads it as a
They
controller.
actually can.
Somebody would have to report that player, and they would have to look into the
No,
footage.
they wouldn't, because it's something within the game.
It's not within the game. There's no
It
keybinds in the
is.
game. It's called a.
Everybody knows this. It's in the game.
Yeah, Michael had one. It's called a. Fuck, I can't think of what it's called. A Zim. It's called a Zim. You buy a Zim. It's a USB, and it plugs in, and it reads your movements and everything as a Xbox controller. Like it reads that. Like even when you set up your keybinds, like you have to set it up as a controller keybind. Like my F keybind would be like A on a button or something.
Well, yeah,
Or A on a controller.
they just need to.
Like it's a form of cheating. Like Zims
They
have
just
been
need
around
to
for
do
so
it
long.
on-
It's a form
They
of
just need to
cheating.
do it on.
Like people used to
And
complain.
that's just something with Microsoft and Xbox.
Yeah,
and
people.
consoles that
Yeah,
they need to fix.
yeah. Like people used to complain in Call of Duty, like GBs and stuff, all the time about keyboarders. Oh, that guy's keyboarding. Like, and what we mean by that is they'll plug in a Zim, and it'll read it as an Xbox controller. And it's worse in games like Siege. Like obviously in Siege, it's easier to aim with a mouse, right?
Yeah.
So like it's bad, but like in other games like AKA Fortnite, if you plug in a Zim to an Xbox, you get aim assist on mouse because it reads it as an Xbox controller, and that's why we would complain. Like it's extremely broken on other games. Which leads into my point. I know I've heard some people say, "Oh, just give mouse and keyboard a little bit of aim assist." No. Mouse and keyboard, a mouse with aim assist is I don't know if they've ever seen a mouse with aim assist. It's stupid. Like it's really bad. Like people don't like, you legitimately will not see somebody miss.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But yeah, with Siege, going back to it, they don't have aim assist, right? And controller is just not that big of a problem. Controller is strictly played on console, and mouse and keyboard is the preferred input on PC. And I think it's just better that way. You avoid arguments. Like
10 times better.
having one, like imagine if the MLB let somebody use wooden bats and aluminum bats, right? Like, and you didn't just have one type of bat. Like that's kind of what we're dealing with. It's like, why would you put two inputs in a game when you could just have one and keep it fair and balanced, right?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it's weird.
It is.
Like it's gotten to a point to where even there's controller pros like complaining about aim assist. Like I watch Scoped all the time in Fortnite, and he will be like, they need to nerf aim assist because I'm tired of dying to like bad players just because the game aims for him. Like Scoped is skilled. Scoped is a mechanically skilled controller player. Like he's really good at editing. He's really good at building, but he'll die to people that are way worse than him that are also on controller because they hit dink him, or they like dink him to the head 4 times and kill him.
It takes away his skill.
Right. Like even it even takes away like the players that are good on controller.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's annoying. And it needs to be fixed badly.
Yeah. And then
But
like it's super easy. Like it's super easy to fix. Like either you need to just nerf it to where there's a preferred input, and it's
lobbies.
where it's like Siege, and you have controller is the input on console and mouse keyboard is the input on PC, or you just split the lobbies. Like it's not hard. Or you do it like COD, like where COD's like the pro scene is only on controller, mouse and keyboard's not allowed. Like you can only play on controller. If you want to be a pro on COD, you have to play on controller, right? That's okay as well. Like I'm fine with that as well.
They just need to do it like, especially in Fortnite, like how it used, where if you are in if you are playing on PC and you're starting it Like, and you have a lobby full of PC players, but you have one more, and you bring your friend over from console, then you're gonna get paired up with other people who've done this.
Right, that's how it used to be, but they changed it to where it's now it's
I
like
know, and that's
cross all
why
the
they just
time.
need to bring it back. Like, it was fine then.
Yeah, and
It wasn't bad.
you have to you used to have to be able to, or you used to have to like enable crossplay to even play those
Yeah, and I'm
lobbies.
I'm okay with that.
And
I don't mind
and
that.
now it's not even an option. Like there's no
Yeah.
option for me to like enable or unenable crossplay. Like it's really it's just I don't know. It's kind I'm just I want to die to people that are using the same thing as me, right?
Yeah.
I want to play against people that are using the same thing as me. I think that's what it comes down to. Like, if I was on controller, honest to God, if I was on controller in some games, I would be like, if I was on controller in Siege, right? I'd be like, I want to play against other controller players. I don't want to play against people with mouse and keyboard, right? And I know, like, the Fortnite community, like, it can be really toxic, and it can just be like, oh, you guys just cry about aim assist because you can't beat it, or whatever, you want to say. But I think it just comes down to wanting to have a fair playing field. Like we don't want like the mouse and keyboard players don't want controller players to like suffer. Like that's not what we want. Like we want a fair field. Like a fair field. Like I said, it's like the difference between aluminum bats and wooden bats. Like we want everybody to have to use a wooden bat. Like that's the best way I can explain it. Like it's just not fair. It's just not fair. Like
Yeah, it isn't.
that's just where it's
It's
at.
terrible.
Yeah, it's just not fair.
It's not fair for people.
Yeah, and it's as simple as that. Like, and with that being said, like, there's a lot of issues in games right now. Skill-based aim assist, some of the big ones.
We'd also talk about that the fact that there's really like people are finding it hard to find fun games to play with their
Yeah,
friends
and
nowadays.
and that's mainly because
So
of
everybody's just
skill-based.
going to single player.
And I also want to
Like
talk
it's
about the issue. Like one big thing that I've noticed with games lately is there is a huge, and I mean huge, lack of communications between dev teams and their player base nowadays. With Fortnite, we rarely hear from the devs. Like we don't even get patch notes anymore, right?
yeah.
Like, and I know they started giving patch notes out to like their big content creators. Like they started giving some patch notes out to them, but like I miss like a patch night and then reading the patch notes. Like I don't even get that anymore. Like in
Yeah.
Fortnite.
It's stupid. You should always be
Um.
able to get patch notes.
Yeah, I haven't heard. We
It's
haven't.
fucking dumb.
With I know people complain to Infinity Ward all the time. They'll be adding them on Twitter, and we won't hear from those devs either. Like with Warzone, like we don't hear from devs. Um,
Yeah.
and
It's fucking stupid. It just shows that they don't care.
yeah, I don't know how the Apex devs are with it. I like the biggest thing I've always said about devs, right, is with aim assist. Like I understand that the majority of your player base is controller players, right? I understand that. Like, and you don't want to nerf the majority. You don't want to piss off the majority of your player base. Like I get that. That makes sense. But just tell us that. Like, don't tell us you're gonna nerf it. You're gonna nerf it, and then you don't actually nerf it, and then it just makes people more frustrated. Like, just tell us, like, hey, the majority of our player base is on controller, and we really don't want to nerf it because they're on controller. Like, I
Yeah.
wouldn't even be mad. Like, if they said that, I'd be like, okay,
Like
yeah,
just tell us.
sure, I'll switch. I'll just make the switch then. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna sit there and just lie to us and be like,
Oh, we're gonna nerf it.
we're gonna nerf it this
guys.
time. I swear, this
Yeah.
time we're actually gonna nerf it. And
This
then
time we're gonna take skill-based matchmaking.
yeah,
Ways.
like just tell us, like, hey, the majority of our player base is new players,
Like, is it really
and
that big of an issue?
we've done
Tell us.
research. Yeah, we've done research where they quit the game really early if they're getting shit on. Like if you told me
Yeah.
that, I'd be like, okay, get your bag, do your thing. Like I get it at that point. Like it's a business, you got to make money. I get it. But
Yeah.
there's no communication. Like there's just none. But and not that there used to be a ton of communication, but like just I think listening to your player base is super important. Like really, really, really important. And
It is because community feedback is always good for a game. That's why I liked when Crucible was like, okay, we're gonna try to hot fix it. Like since the servers weren't working for a lot of people,
Right.
and people in EU couldn't even download it, and then they made it available. They tried to fix the servers. The servers still weren't working, or at least for me and you.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other people they still weren't working.
And we didn't get
But
much from the
then
dev team either.
so the Crucible devs just haven't tweeted out in like a week. But
Right.
they've been tweeting out patch notes though. They haven't been responding to the community, but they've been like tweeting out patch notes. And they're
Right.
putting the patches into the game and then listening because they don't even need to listen to people
Yeah.
on Twitter.
Yeah, and I
But
think
that's where they're uploading it from. But in the game, you can directly tell the devs what's wrong with the game.
I think the biggest I think the biggest issue is devs just not listening to their content creators, or like the player base that cares, right? Like
Yeah.
you have your casuals, and the way casuals work is they move on to the next game, the next popping game as soon as it comes out, right? And
Yeah.
when you're listening to those casuals, you make your game for the casuals, you piss off your actual players that care for the game, and then the players that care for the game leave, and then when the next popping game comes out, the casuals leave, and then you're stuck with no player base, right? And that's how a game dies. And that's how a game dies.
Yeah.
And with that being said,
Yeah.
I think the best way to do things is literally like there should just be some platform that the devs want to use, whether it's Twitter, in-game, something like that, where they could they have like an area where they make a poll or a vote you
Yeah.
can publicly see the results as well. Like
Yes.
that shouldn't be hidden. Like in Fortnite, every now and again a question will pop up after a match where it'll be like, "Hey, what do you think about the drum
How did
gun?
your match go?
Or yeah, did you have fun in that match? Do you think the drum gun? Rate the drum gun 1 out of 5. Like,
And I have never
I want to see public results.
In the past 6 months, I haven't put a single positive
Yeah,
into that box.
and I want to see the public
At all.
results. Like if you just make it to where there's a poll in game, and we can see the question where it's like, "Hey, do you guys think aim assist is a little too overpowered?" And you can see public results, and clearly with questions like aim assist, you would want, to be able to see answers by mouse and keyboard input, and then answers by controller input players, like stuff like that. Like we need polls like that where devs are trying to listen to their players a little more, right?
Yeah.
But in Fortnite, all we get is those shitty questions after once in a blue moon, you get a shitty little question about
And then we never
how do you think the
even
minigun
see-
is?
We never see shit change.
Yeah, and you don't see results. You don't see, anything change. You don't see.
You like it's like you literally get asked a question and then you expect that question to go somewhere,
Right.
and you expect it to change.
And you really.
something
Yeah.
or literally anything
And-
in the game that you dislike, but it doesn't move.
Right, and
It's just something to give you a kind of
yeah, just give you a feeling that.
stimulant, just like acting
they're
like
listening.
they care.
Yeah. Oh, they're listening. They're asking me questions. They're listening. Like that's what
Yeah,
it's there
they're
for.
listening.
Yeah, that's what it's there for.
That's literally what it's there for. The devs don't look at it.
Yeah, I doubt they look at those. I honestly doubt they look at those. Or maybe they do and they just laugh at them. And it's like, ha ha ha, let's just piss off our players more. Like,
Yeah, because they don't care because they've made so much money off
yeah, and
already.
I don't know. I just think that, the devs listening is a big issue right now. Skill base is a big issue right now. Aim assist,
And it's
there's
not
so
only
many
in
issues.
Fortnite, it's literally in every game.
And yeah, and even with skill based and aim assist, like it all comes back to the devs listening, right?
And
If-
I personally have
And I
played
feel-
all these games, and I can agree with what people are complaining about.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the devs. Like I feel bad for the devs as well. Like you gotta feel for the devs where it's like the relationship between devs and players right now is very toxic. Like extremely toxic. Like
Well,
whenever-
because they take it as a personal attack
Yeah,
to their game.
right. And
They
whenever
don't take it as
advice.
constructive criticism or
Right.
feedback, that they care about your game just as much as you care about game.
Right, and I can promise devs that there's nothing more that the player wants than to have fun playing that person's game, right?
Yeah, why
And
wouldn't they?
when yeah,
Why would they even play your game in the first place
yeah,
if they
and
don't want to have
when
fun?
we give feedback, it's strictly to try to make the game better. It's not
Yeah,
to
it's
try to
never
ruin your
because we
game.
dislike your game and we want to ruin it.
Right.
We want to make it better so it's
So it's
fun
fun for
everyone.
right. So with that being said, like I feel for the devs because like it is toxic right now, because sometimes the way the criticism comes, it comes in a form of anger from certain players, like like Doctor Disrespect, like fucking screams at devs all the time, like tells them they don't know what they're doing, like even if it's just a character, like it's still like that relationship is kind of toxic there.
Oh no, even I can agree that it's a character and he may be just playing a character sometimes, but he just does it in a funny way. But if you look at other people and watch other
Yeah,
people
yeah.
playing the same game, they complain about the same
And
thing.
the issue is the devs never reach out. So like our only form of like a way of criticizing the game is when we get angry at it. If a dev would reach out to you maybe before you played the game that day, or just in general in an email, to where you could reply to the dev without being frustrated at the game or angry at the game at that current that and like in that state of mind, like
Yeah.
you could give them legitimate criticism in a calm, collected manner that would truly help the game. But devs don't reach out to players in any way, shape, or form,
The
and then
only
they
time
expect
I've
us.
ever seen proof of devs reaching out to their player base is through pro players in Siege.
I've seen it on
But most pro players have tainted and ruined their relationship with the
with
devs
devs, right?
because the devs take it so personally that they just can't
Yeah,
take it.
and I get it.
And it's
Like you can be
terrible.
stubborn. Like there's devs that are
Yeah, you can
stubborn.
be stubborn.
Like I've
It's
seen it.
fine,
Like I get
but
it.
don't take it
Like
personally.
if you're at a if you like, let's say like somebody's like, hey, this gun's really shitty. Like let's say like the drum gun, for example, like in Fortnite.
It was very overpowered when it
Right.
came out.
And if somebody says, hey, this gun's shitty, or the P90, hey, this gun's shitty, we need to take it
Yeah.
out or we need to balance it. Like the dev that spent however X amount of time working on that gun is gonna be like, but I worked so long on that gun, like but
Yeah, and then if it's even worse, then the player's response or whoever's
right,
response is just going to be, well, you obviously didn't do a good enough job.
yeah, and then it just
And it's true, but
but it
you could have put it in a lighter way.
yeah, where it's like, hey, we don't need to take it out. It's just a little overpowered. Like
Yeah, it's just a little
it just doesn't fit the
under,
meta.
it's just a little under
know,
like where it
it's
needs to be.
it's a good idea, but it doesn't fit the meta. Like tune it up a little bit and then like put it back in the game. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like the Infinity Blade could have been balanced, or even like there's no way. And sometimes
There's no way in games.
I also think there's an issue with playtesting. They need to get either better playtesters or they need to playtest more, because there's no way you can
Yes.
put something in the game that's like the Infinity Blade, where there's no way you can put something in the game where it's that overpowered and think, hey, yeah.
They play tested. I know you know this. The fucking L Star in Apex.
Right.
Someone play tested that.
Right.
Shroud play tested that when he play tested new like legends.
I'm
to
sure.
the game.
I'm sure they gave
And
feedback
they
too, where it
still-
was like,
and you got to think about it. They either didn't
listen,
touch it, or they just
or
they tried and it was still overpowered.
yeah.
Because it's still overpowered after many nerfs.
I feel like when they do things without playtest, like clearly, there was a post going viral today about Fortnite. There was a dev on Reddit. Somebody asked, how often do you guys, like, how much do you guys playtest weapons before you put them into the game? And the dev said, before or after release, with a winky face. Like,
What?
yeah, right. And it was going viral. I don't know if it was real, but it was going viral.
All right, guys, we're gonna close it out here. With
Wait,
just
what?
saying that devs should just pay more attention to their player base.
Yeah, I mean, like, the devs, the way they contact like is outdated. Like they just like they pop in every now and again. There needs to be a form of contacting a dev inside the game, getting actual
Yeah.
results, things like that. With that being said, skill based still a big issue. Ties back in with the devs. They're not listening about skill based. They're not listening to their content creators. Um, Also with aim assist, like even the controller pros have been saying on stream, like the devs could reach out to us and we could find a balance point together, you know, and the devs still aren't reaching out. I think it all draws back to the devs and whether they want to put in the time to do it or whether it's just they don't care. Like one of the two. It is what it is. But like you said, we're gonna end the podcast off here. There'll be another episode more than likely next week.
All right, guys.
I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you want to
thank
leave,
you very much.
if you want to leave a like or subscribe, it would mean a lot to us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. With that being said, have a good day, guys. Thanks for listening, and
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.
see you next time.